Hey everybody. This week's episode might be a little clunky. David and I had some connection issues when we recorded this one. It was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, and it just wasn't. The connection was in and out, lots of delays in our connection, and so uh, we're going to scrap it and try it again. But once it uploaded, which took a long time, it turned out to be kind of salvageable, I thought. So I cut a lot of fat off of it. You might hear a couple repeated topics. I tried to eliminate those as much as possible. But I feel like the topic of this episode was interesting enough to still post, even though it's a little bit shorter and a little clunky. So you might hear a little, some delayed responses or some laughs that are in the wrong spot, to be honest. But I think it might be interesting regardless. So enjoy it. Let me know what you think. I feel like it's an interesting topic, and good luck. Stay active. Stay running. This is the Run Recap. I got a little panicked last week because let's see, last weekend. Oh man, so I sent you the my long run that I did last Sunday.
Right, yeah.
And it was terrible. It was so hard. And I knew going into it I shouldn't run. I shouldn't go run. My body's not the week was really tough. I was exhausted. I was still kind of burned out from a couple runs I did earlier. And I'm like, it's not going to be good. Like my head, I was in a bad headspace. I'm like, I need to do something. I need to go be physical of some kind. And so I'm like, well, we'll do the shorter version or something. So I went out. I stopped so many times.
Really?
Like I took advantage of every light I had. And then every now and then I'm like, all right, I'm done. Stop for a second. Cause like, I can't walk it. Cause that is defeating to me. I can't just I'm tired, and so I'm just going to walk for a while. That just doesn't work. So I stopped, catch your breath. Okay, try some more. Try to get a little bit further, But man, it was so defeating.
Is it mostly your sleep that's the issue, do you think?
I was a little bit sick. That we had a whole thing. Like Elise was really sick the weekend before and into most of the week.
Sure.
And so I was taking the kids a lot and not getting a ton of sleep. So and then I was pushing to keep off the sickness as much as I could.
Yeah.
And then, finally the weekend comes and your body's like, okay, here you go.
Right.
So I didn't get it didn't necessarily get worse, but it was definitely a letdown of guard. And so my body was like, okay, you're just done. So I was just full exhaustion. You're right. So my body just did not like to do much of anything. And so not a beneficial run, but I needed to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and that's a hard place that we get stuck in our heads of what is a beneficial one, what's not. I was talking to Chris about this earlier today, that I've been enjoying lifting because I can see quick progress, and even just getting pumped. You can just look in the mirror and look, I'm bigger. I did something. It worked. There's progress, or I lifted up more weight, and it's because I'm not much of a lifter that I have a lot of improvement I get to do right now. But my running is pretty fast for my age and everything, so my improvement there is very minimal. And so it's not as fun to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, and especially when it's the distance, that's what kills me. But what bummed me out about it was you look at the calendar and Bloomsday is 1, 2, basically 3 weeks, right? And
we only have...
It was defeating to do a long run knowing that only have 3 weeks. So basically progress is not really going to be made. Not a lot of progress is going to happen in the next 3 weeks. I got to get my conditioning back is what it is, right? But I'm not going to get faster necessarily.
We have 2 weeks where we get to push a little bit. That's it. So probably have 4 hard runs is all we get.
Yeah, right. But I did do that 2 minutes on, 1 minute off run last week for instead of 8 rounds, I did 20 rounds of it, and that was fun. That was like I hit 10, and I just felt like I was in a groove, and I could bump up the speed a little bit, and just. I mean, I was dying. Like the last 5 were brutal, but it was still satisfying. I felt like I was getting a lot done, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've had my hard days on the treadmill have been fairly successful. I've also been hitting same as you. That some of my my outdoor days where I think I can go fast, that just aren't working very well.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think probably just circumstantial, just like you. It's like, oh, well, maybe I didn't sleep that well that night, or whatever I did before I'm still recovering from. And, like a snowboard day sometimes can just, like, take you out more than you thought it did, or whatever, So I think it's just random things where it's all fine. But I think it is that short timeline where now it's like, no, every run I'm calculating how good was that? How good is my next one? How close are we getting to this? And I'm watching and I'm getting nervous with every one that doesn't really improve or do awesome. I'm like, oh crap, I'm falling off. I'm like, no, you're fine. Just just do your thing. When race day hits, you're gonna be at the peak of whatever condition you're in right now, which is pretty decent. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where my head is too. My runs outside I've had a lot of really hard treadmill runs, and so my runs outside I've put low pressure on, but they've been pretty quick after those hard runs, and so they're they should be recovery, and they just feel really hard,
Yeah.
So what are your well, let's attempt just to get into the topic of the day then and see how that goes.
I like it.
Why is running better than all other sports?
Well, I have to try these things not to be extremely biased, right?
I know, right? Or extremely, whatever.
Yeah, I might as well go all the way there. The extremely biased, it's the basis of everything, right? If you can run, you can do everything better. So all sports work with that, in my opinion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So running has improved any other sport I've ever wanted to do, including like golf. Okay, I got to walk 4 miles during golf. It sure is nice when I walk up and I'm not tired at all when I got to take the swing on the 18th hole, and I feel fine. It's no big deal at all. But that type of just having good cardiovascular and being able to actively recover, having that skill, and your body has that skill, is just nonstop useful, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, even really anything. Because everything active you do, you get breathing hard. So, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, I'm going to agree with you.
Obviously.
That it is just better in all respects. The interesting thing, I think, is that why some runners seem to stick to running forever, for as long as their bodies let them. Whereas, people play sports and then they might keep it up. There's rec leagues and that kind of stuff that people continue, but I don't feel like the people hang on to it as long as a runner does. Where a runner
think about that.
If you're a runner, you're a runner, right? And you do it forever.
Yeah. We both love soccer, and it's hard to play soccer as an adult. Yeah, there are rec leagues, but it's actually really hard to do. You have to find the right places to do it. You got to join a team and stuff. And then all of that, if you don't have a baseline fitness that you're staying on, all that pivoting and stuff and everything can be super hard on your body. So you still need to be a runner, right? So you need those things. And we don't, as adults, we don't play anymore. And so if you're not running around playing all the time, your joints can't handle a regular sport.
Yeah. People try to continue with all of their sports. I have a lot of clients that are older, in their 40s, 50s, that still do that. They still play football, play tennis all the time, that kind of stuff. But they're constantly in pain. I can think of a couple specifically that are like, oh, my knees and this, because they're and even though they're training with me, they're still not running. They're still not keeping a base fitness. And at least that's my assessment, right? Well, you should, are you doing any cardio? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, are you running at all? I'm like, no. Well, you're trying to sprint and football and tennis and side cuts and all this stuff when you just run, and it will it'll make everything better. It'll make your performance way better in all of those, and your legs will be conditioned to actually do these things.
Well, maybe it's just even the easiest way to stay conditioned for those things, because you could do it a number of ways. I do think you could do it in the gym, but you've got to spend a couple hours every day in the gym. I think that you can't, and you got to lift in a certain way in order to do that. You got to be pretty careful about it. I do think it's doable without running. Running is just the easiest way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, but also, yeah, it's true because you're right. You can do it in the gym, but to duplicate the certain benefits that running always has, you have the stability, you have the repetitive low impact. You have your body constantly correcting, you have your core stabilized and everything. So to duplicate something like that in a gym, you're right, it just takes a long time. And you have to be very specific and not necessarily fun exercises because you got to do so many of them, Whereas, and that's not to discount the things that you need to do in the gym and the strengthening that is so helpful for it. But you can't compensate for the good things that running will give you when it comes to playing sports.
Well, and to that point, I have found as I get older that just running also probably doesn't really there's not enough range of motion in there for just running to do what I need anymore. So you do get that. You can still get pretty weird just running. Anyway, so I found that getting in the gym and actually doing full range of motion. But you could do that you don't need weights necessarily. I don't think you could probably do just full body squats to the floor. And just really keeping your range of motion existing is also so important for good health.
I honestly think you could, if you do proper warm-ups and really focus on the kind of dynamic stretching and dynamic warm-ups that are necessary, if you combined real sprinting with moderate distance running, I think you could be pretty well-rounded strength-wise.
Oh, I'd say so. Yeah, well, because you do get that more motion. It's just long-distance running, especially, really just long-distance running, you just don't get as much motion into it. You're rarely pivoting. You're not bending your knees very far, and so, but I do think the impact, I know that's good for your bones and joints to have regular impact. But I think that's the thing that, first of all, it's really hard to do if you don't do it all the time. So I think that's what's rough. Well, and even we do it all the time. We still complain about our runs all the time on here, right? How many of your runs have been miserable?
Exactly.
Out of your last 10 runs, how many have been miserable? You just did not want to do.
Realistically, I think out of my last 10, conservatively, I'll say 6 were ones that I was I do not want to do this. Leading into it.
Yeah, most of the time I don't feel like running.
Could be 7,
into it.
At least 6.
Yeah, and then on how many of those
but that's
are
not
you going through? But how many of those, as you're halfway through even, maybe you did feel like it or you didn't feel like it, but halfway through, how often does it improve and become a better run? It happens. Not often, but it does happen. But it's tough to get yourself out there and do it.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. So, if conservatively I say 6 of them I didn't want to do going into it, add another 2 to that I did want to, but right away it was oh, this sucks. And so then you really have realistically 2 out of 10 that were hey, I really want to go for a run, and man, that was a fun run.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, here's the flip side. That's distance running specifically. Track days, sprinting. It is uncommon that I will, even if I don't want to go do it, it's uncommon that I leave unsatisfied or
really,
that was terrible. Yeah, it's more often than not that I leave and I'm man, that was hard, or that felt good to move in that way.
Yeah.
Because it's not endurance, it's not suffering, right? It's you can adjust on the fly to still be productive, right? You can adjust to you can go from being focused on the intensity of the workout, right? The intervals or whatever you're doing and if your body's not feeling as oh, then I'm going to go more technique based today, right? And take a little bit more rest and that kind of thing. Or, it's you can more easily adapt and still get a good benefit. Whereas when you're going for a distance run, you run and you're I got to do 3 or whatever miles. I got to do X amount of miles today. And then you start off and you're man, this sucks. Well, I still have to do this many miles. You can adapt, but then you're you miss the whole point of the run.
Then you're out there on a big loop and stuff. Well, I got to get home eventually. So I got to just do this.
Well, there's the other side of it, yeah.
Yeah. And if it takes longer to get there, it's now actually getting harder.
Right. The other interesting thing for me is like, you know, I have a hard time walking on a run. Like if it's really hard, my head's not in or something, like I won't just walk. That feels wrong, feels defeating. But I'll stop. And not walk.
Okay.
Or walk super, super slow because I don't want to cut into the distance that I'm running. It's really stupid. It's a really doesn't make logical sense at all because I'm okay stopping. I'm okay catching my breath. All of a sudden, as soon as you stop, the time is done. So the benefit of the run or like keeping track of the run is now done, right? It doesn't matter. You stopped, right? So what time pace you ran is irrelevant. But so I won't just slow down. I won't just go real slow or walk. I'll stop, recover, and then I'll keep going. It doesn't make any sense.
When I was going through the period of life that you're in now, when my kids were a lot littler and I was having trouble sleeping, or not having trouble sleeping, just you don't get that much sleep. So I was not recovering very well. And I really had to change my mindset. It wasn't hard for me, but I had to change my mindset to that of no, the point is I need to get out and move for this period of time. I'm going to do that. And if it can be a good run, that's great. If not, I need to just change my mindset to no, I'm just moving. I'm getting out in the sunshine. I'm just doing this. And then that allowed me to I'm running. Okay, no, we're going to walk now. It's still good for my body. But it took me a long time to get my brain around that, to be okay with it. Hey, no, this is just, what is the objective of today? Was the objective today to go out and PR? Or was it to move my body really good for an hour because I needed it? And if it's just moving my body for a while, if it's supposed to be a long, slow distance run anyway, or something like that, then I don't mind walking in the middle of it anymore. But it took a while to wrap my brain around it because you do have to know how to push your limits and push past that feeling of telling you everything hurts and I need to walk when you're a newer runner. And you kind of have to hammer that into your brain when you're newer. And for us, anybody, maybe that newer runner phase might be 15 years, right? But especially as a kid, you've got to learn how to push past that. And then now, I've been running for almost 40 years. And at this point now I can be no, I can actually think of what I'm trying to accomplish today and back off that and be no, that wasn't the point anyway. Or maybe this turned out not to be the right day to try and accomplish what I was trying to accomplish. My body's not there anyway. No big deal. Okay, we're just going to change the plan today. We'll do it tomorrow because today you can't get there anyway. You actually know you can't. This isn't just you being oh, it's uncomfortable, so I feel like stopping. This is more, no, my body's not there. I don't have the energy today. It literally isn't there. Let's go hit it when I have the energy and get these things.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what's hard for me as well because, I don't have the flexibility to, push it to a different day. Right now, the days I can run, especially with something leading up, there's an event coming up. I'm trying to stay in shape for, it's not just keeping my body in shape in general, in good running shape. It's okay, now I'm trying to get I'm not going to hit the time I want, but I'm still trying to get there, right? And if I don't do this specific run today, I can't for a week. Right. I don't have this time. I literally have 2 days on a Saturday or Sunday when I can do that run at the time that I have. And so if I don't do it one of those days, then it's done. And I have to wait another week. So I'm it's important that I do this. But if it was a normal time and I was feeling exhausted and but I still need to go do something physical, I'd go do a track day and whatever, just do what you can. It'll feel fine. But I think that's what's frustrating about the moment now. It's no, I have to hit this run today, and so it's gonna be terrible. But I don't want to walk it still anyway.
Yeah. So we have. I think this is we have two issues going on here that you and I both have. One, I think, is a typical old guy issue. It's an old fit guy issue where okay, we're still trying to hit goals and everything because it's super fun. It doesn't actually matter. It's super fun. And we like to believe when we're making this plan that we can still train like a professional athlete, Of course, I can put in 6 days a week. Of course, no, you can't. I rarely can put in 6 days a week, actually. But I make my plan like I do. In my head, 6 days a week is what we do. Maybe a seventh even, but maybe I'll let myself take 1 day off because that's how life works. And that's not how life works. It's not abnormal that I can only get 3 days in, really. And so you have this goal of I can hit this if I can go 6 days a week. But you probably can't, actually. And then the other thing is that you and I also, maybe it's not just, maybe it's more me. I don't know. I'm going to let you answer yourself on this one. It might be a me issue. But it's that feeling of the time of my life is always getting shorter, which of course is actually true. But I got to do these things now. I got to hit this stuff now, and I felt that. I felt a hurry to get things done ever since I was probably like 10 years old, is that I got to hurry and get these things done because time is shrinking, and so, there's no, it's kind of an aside, but I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was explaining, like, I don't have a chill. I don't sit and hang out. I'm not gonna like put a show on in the middle of the day or something like that. Even like I don't have work to or something like that. Like I'm still not going to do that. It's like, oh, here's a chance where I could work harder towards this other adventure that I really want to do, or spend more time out in the sun. But I don't sit down for anything. Like we're not doing that. Probably it's maybe a horrible musician.
Man, yeah. I mean that is our big difference between you and me. Is I don't have that urgency. I don't feel that pull of time and that I need to accomplish something and that I need to I'm fighting against. If I don't do this now, I'll never do it. I don't feel that in any way. Like even you bring it back to the things that skateboarding, like I've lost so many tricks over the past about 5 or 6 years, and like staples, not like hard tricks, not like tricks I could do every now and then, tricks that were like they were on lock. I never fell.
Yeah.
I got all of them all the time. I never had a bad experience, and I've lost a ton of them. And it took me a little bit, but I've accepted, like, oh, I just don't do those right now. I'll get back to them. Like, I don't feel it fleeting that, like, I won't be able to do those again. There's some I might not choose to do, but like, no, I can get back to them. That's fine. I got time. I'm young. I feel good. So I don't feel that pressure. And I don't know if Elise did this to me. That's the wrong phrase. I don't know if she helped me learn this, or she for sure helped me in some way, or it could have been also a natural progression. I'm not sure, but like she taught me how to chill, how to just like stop and do nothing, and it took a while, but like, yeah, so now I do enjoy just sitting in the sun and doing nothing or reading a book, and like but I think I've always had that a little bit, or it was forced into me when we were in Europe. I don't know. But yeah, but I can definitely do that. I can definitely just chill and not do anything.
Often jealous that you can sit and read a book. Like that just seems like I can't even do that now. Like I don't. I enjoyed reading like in junior high and stuff, and anymore like I'm not gonna sit and read a book. Like no, I have to listen to them so I can do something else at the same time. Because I don't have time to do the stuff I want to do. And maybe I just want to do too much stuff. I don't know, but like I can't do that at all. And even like that stuff with like skateboarding, like you're saying, yeah, like I'm not anywhere improving. So I don't skateboard very often at all anymore because I know I can't actually devote the time to do it in a way that's going to be enjoyable for me anymore, and so I still do it a little bit, but I can't do it much.
Yeah,
like,
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I'm on the downhill slope of it for my long.
I can relate to that because because even now when I do and go skate, it's like I do 3 runs. I do a couple things, and then usually that's kind of all the time I have. But the couple days I've had where I got time for a session, it's a little frustrating because I know I'm not in the mindset to learn new stuff or relearn things. And so it's like, it feels dumb because I do like the couple things and I'm good. And I try to just have fun with the guys that are there and just kind of cruising around. But it is hard because I want to get things back. I want to do stuff, and I'm like, I'm not in that space yet. I'm not able to do that,
Yeah, that relaxation that I've learned with running, be able to like take it down a notch sometimes, is something that has not transferred to much of anything else. So that's there I can be like, okay, it's not my day, we can back off. But it hasn't transferred to anything else in my life, unfortunately. Still, it's just there. But I'm exhausting to be friends with, or my poor wife, and like it's so rough to be with me. So I was riding with
I mean for me.
So I was riding with Jason and Brooke the other day. We went up for Jason's birthday and riding around, and Jason got wrecked this year. The goal was it's Jason's birthday. I had to put in my head, I'm gonna get footage of Jason riding. And I go at his pace, and we're just going to take breaks when we need to take breaks, whatever we're doing. And we did. Like, I had to really focus on that. That's my mindset. We're just going to sit down sometimes. And we did. We sat down a bunch. Like we took a total of 5 runs.
Yeah.
Took the entire day up. Barbecued for lunch and stuff, and just hung out. And Jason made a comment about it. It's like, whoa, I think it's David to like sit down for a little bit. Like, oh geez, I drag you guys so far so often. Like, I feel bad for people.
Yeah, man, I wish we were closer because I do love that.
Yeah.
Like, I miss being around people who can just go, because I can re-tap into that no problem. It's like, all right,
Sure.
let's just do this. We're going nonstop all day long, and that is so fun. But like, yeah, I've learned to really enjoy the nothing, the chill.
Yeah.
The like sit and just relax and not have to push constantly. But I do miss that. That is what I like about when we're together. It's like, yeah, you can just go and do it constantly.
Right.
All right, let's move. Let's do more.
Well, and I thought that everybody works that way, and I'm learning that like not everybody's like that. This is what you always think that how my brain works is how everyone's brain works, because I know me. This is what I'm in, and then you realize like, oh, most people actually don't have this, unhealthy need to just go no matter what.
Yeah, it's the only reason that you like distance running is because it can take up a lot of time and you're in constant motion the entire time.
Yeah, I can finally relax. Like that's literally it.
How
like
you relax.
Yeah, I can just call like that. It is it. It's like, oh, I need. It's not abnormal. I think through a day, like I either need a nap or a run. I'm definitely not taking a nap. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I need a break.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for a run. That's my break. And that's where my brain can do better, and it improves the rest of my day. Where a nap ruins my day. I just woke up and be like, wow, I just wasted time that I could have enjoyed my life. Pretending I'm dead for a little bit. It's ridiculous.
Do you feel like you really missed out on a day if you take like a 30-minute nap?
Oh yeah, and then I'm groggy when I wake up too, and like I am in a horrible mood after a nap, like just horrible. Like I am kind of pissed off that like I could have done these things that I actually want to do. Instead, I just laid down and did nothing. Like it's not even like I'm scared of being lazy.
Yeah.
I just like didn't get to do a thing I wanted to do now.
You just missed an opportunity.
At least in the sun. Actually, I take it back. In the summer, I can do that. I can lay in the sun because I'm still accomplishing getting more tan.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I still have an objective that I'm accomplishing. Like I'm actually doing something, even though I'm laying here. But I'm doing something.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Well, to get back to what we were talking about, though, is with running versus other sports, I think that once you really become a runner, you can stay a runner. But becoming a runner takes a long time. Might take a couple of years of being consistent. But once you are consistent for a couple of years, you feel the benefits of that. You feel the benefits in your brain, and it's so easy. You can always just put on your shoes and go. You can do it anywhere. You just put on your shoes, go out the door. I've done it when my shoes, I can only afford $30 shoes, and I've done it when I can afford $200 shoes. It all works, Put on a pair of shorts, go out and get it done. And then you still get that, and there's other things now you can do better. And I do think that when people outside, I don't know people that quit running outside of having injuries.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. I think it's always a knee issue or plantar fasciitis or something like that always causes people to stop running. Unless they're like really early into it, unless it's like, oh yeah, I used to run a little bit and that's it. Like they didn't actually get over the hump of like, I ran sometimes and then I just stopped,
Yeah, but if you're consistent for a couple of years, then after a couple of years of consistency it does become just a part of your life. This is just what we do. And you see the benefits of it, no matter how much everyone's telling you it's bad for your knees, it's bad for this and that. You realize the benefits of it, and you can just do it. Just go out and do it. You don't need anyone else to do it with you. You can just go. Most other things require other people or money or time, or a specific amount of time on a specific day to do these things, and I think that helps.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing that I like about skateboarding. Like, I mean, the cost is about the same. I mean, it's a pair of shoes to get a skateboard, and then you just go on wherever, go on a street, and you do it, and and you're only as good as the time you put in. You can't
Right.
you can't get better by thinking about it or because someone else did something. Like you
Right.
have to try and put in the work. And there's more pain involved because the risk for injury is higher.
Yeah.
And the concrete hurts when you
The
hit
barrier
it.
to entry with skateboarding is pain. It's broken bones. It's
Yeah.
things you're gonna get hurt learning to skateboard. So it's just a hard barrier to entry. It's cheap, but physically is pretty rough. And then other sports, it's time consuming or it's expensive. But everyone can run.
Yeah.
You can go out and jog around for 10 minutes if
Right.
you need to.
Yeah. Is a runner then, how does a runner pair up as far as the, like, I don't want to say like the best athlete, but as far as adults, like, let's not talk pro athletes, let's talk like adult athletics, adult physicality, people in their 40s and up. Where do runners rank as far in regards to other people doing sports?
Well, you and I could probably have a really good basis for this since we both train people in one way or another. So I know for me, if I have someone older that I'm about to teach snowboarding to, which is, snowboarding's tough on your body. You do have to have some pretty good core strength initially to be able to handle that. And if you're weak at all through that, it can take a hard beating for sure. And so I notice when people at least are actively doing sports that involve running, I know that you have a certain amount of fitness that's already there, and I get a lot more success. When I'm training someone like that, I assume you can probably have the same thing. What's your experience when you have someone? I assume you've had people that have been runners and start training with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back through all the clients I've had, and because I have a lot of clients. Every time someone starts up with us, you're going over what they currently do, what their history is, what they've got, injuries and that kind of thing. And so you're always talking about like, what are you doing right now? And the people that say like, oh, like I run, which honestly is not very many in the grand scheme of things. The thousands of people I've trained, people who say like, oh, I run, is low. It's like at 10% probably. Those people though are always the ones where we can, no matter if they have gym experience or not, and whatever their goals are trying to be, we can escalate quick. We can roll through things really fast. They can adapt to exercises pretty quick. And then everybody else, it's always very hit and miss. The people that are like, oh yeah, I play basketball twice a week. I'm like, okay, if you're in your 20s, great. So maybe we can still adapt to that. If you're an adult, like we're talking like, late 30s onward, then it's like, okay, so your body doesn't work very well. You're chasing your childhood or your younger years. And so we're going to have to fight off all of these potential injuries and past injuries. And you might not be able to do stuff. You might not be that fit. And you're probably going to throw up the first session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that is the people that throw up on their first session, a little aside, are the people that used to be athletes and haven't done anything consistently in a while, or people who have never done anything ever. Like those are the two. The people that used to be athletes or have never done anything. The people who've never done anything, they're always like, it's just their body goes into shock and they're like, what is this? Like I am used to sitting on the couch and you made me do 30 squats and I'm done, And then the guys that are the former athletes, high school athletes or whatever, they're like, I'm telling them, hey, rest, get some water, rest. Like, no, I'm good. And they're like just pushing themselves so hard. I'm like, you're not good. You're about to pass out. You need to chill out.
Look at those guys. You've done it before. Like, if you were an athlete in high school, you did have years of knowing how to like push. And then you take 10 years off and you can go right back. Yeah. I've done that several times where I've gotten out of shape. And then I've just gone to do a thing, and I go into like autopilot, like, oh no, this is how hard I push, this is what I do, and then I am throwing up in the corner.
Yeah,
I do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's in my experience, I've never had a runner who is currently a runner come in and not be in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
Right. In varying levels, obviously, about how much they run and that kind of thing, how old they are, but no, they're always. As an adult, if someone wants to be like considered an athlete, which I have issues with that term, but like pick up running, That's easy. It's your easiest route, and you'll get the best bang for your buck as far as feeling fit, right? Strength
but
stuff
also,
aside, there's a whole other conversation, but
yeah. And when you're newer at it, though, I think it's the hardest mentally to get yourself to go out and do. It is simple. Again, put your shoes on and go.
yeah,
But no one's relying on you. You don't have a specific time it has to happen. You're not letting anyone down if you don't do it. None of those things are happening. We're having group activities or even going to the gym where at least, you see your friend there every time, right? And they're not going to see you. They're like, oh, I'm at least going to go see my friend and lift up some stuff, right? So you have those other things to help you do it. And I think that maybe it's even that self-discipline that you have to be a consistent runner as an adult, not on a team, is part of what makes everything work so good. If you have to get out and or you're making yourself get out and do that, then you're going
you're probably right, because if you're that disciplined to stay consistently running and start it in the first place, then you're going to be able to be consistent with other things in your life or disciplined with other things in your life, like food and that kind of stuff, where you might say no to a thing that you want, where a lot of people will say yes to everything that they want constantly. The other side of it, though, is you have this there is an increase in popularity of running again. It kind of surges up and down. Right now, there's an increase. Tons of run clubs around everywhere. Even around here, I see run clubs of like 60 people around the lake always.
Every bar has a run club.
Where was I going with that? Oh, and so with that popularity, people have this expectation of what is attainable or what's realistic not realistic, what they think should be realistic when they start running. So as an adult, they're getting into running for the first time, and it's, like you say, it's hard. They may or may not be with people, and they think like, oh, you go out for a 5K or a 10K, or what I hear often is like, oh, should I run a half marathon? I'm like, are you running right now? And they say, no. I'm like, then no, you should not do a half marathon. I have talked so many people out of doing marathons and half marathons that I feel a little bad about it. But they ask me like, oh, I think I'm going to sign up for half marathon. What do you think? I'm like, why? I mean, like, I don't want to poo-poo your desire to do something active, but what's your motivation? This is the thing that I forget in the moment is are you running it or are you completing it? Right.
And completing can be its own objective. That can be really fun to do. There's some satisfaction, like, I accomplished this distance, and that is a big deal for sure.
Right. Absolutely. The problem with me, and I'll own this, when I hear someone say I signed up to run a half marathon, I'm thinking you're going to run a half marathon. Right. You're going to run the entire thing. You're going to try to do it at a relatively, for you, quick pace. Right. And I forget that that's not everybody's goals, Yeah. And so, but I still ask them, like, why? Why do you want to do it? And they'll give me a slew of reasons. I'm like, okay, how much are you running? And they're like, well, every now and then is always the answer. Always the answer is maybe I'll run every other week, like 3 miles. I'm like, okay, well, let's start running first. Actually running, and then sign up for a half marathon. Don't do the one in 3 months. Get some. You're gonna end. And the reason I come so hard on people on this is because I see the direct result of signing up and doing it, even if it's just a complete. And it's not I'm going for a time, I'm going to push myself. It's just I'm completing the distance. I see the result of injury constantly. Oh, now I have plantar fasciitis and I can't train or do anything for a long time. Or I have a knee issue or whatever. Like so many, I have a hip thing. People they don't give themselves enough time to prepare for what's not an easy thing. But it's so popular that people think it's just like, oh yeah, I'll go do that too.
And studying, it can be really motivating to set a rather audacious goal. So like I have this, I'm going to say this big thing because then I have this big thing to head towards, and that can be great. And but I think that what we have a lot right now is just longer and longer distances are glorified. And, actually I was just talking to the bartender at a run club last night. He's like, how far did you run? I was like, oh, today's route was a little over 3 miles. He's like, oh, that's not bad. He was like, yeah, well, he's like, honestly, for me, a mile would be bad. I'm like, well, hey, any distance can be bad. Depends on how you run it. It's like 100 meters can destroy you, depending on how you run it, and same with a half marathon can be super casual. All depends how you do it. It can be super relaxed out there, or you can destroy yourself for an hour and a half, or you can destroy yourself for 14 seconds.
Yeah.
And I felt horrible after 100 meters several times.
Exactly.
And only one. It all depends. And they're all hard if you make them hard. And they're all easy depending on how you do it. I mean, if you're in decent fitness, I can go 20 miles in a day and feel pretty good. I'm going to pack a whole lot of food and water with me, and I'm going to have a great time. Probably walk a bunch of it, and I'll get done and be like, yeah, my legs are a little wobbly or whatever, but I'll run, I'll walk the other half and eat a lot of food, drink a lot of water, and I'll feel awesome. It all depends what is there. But, for me I've never actually run 20 miles. I've run 16 is the first ever gone. But if I'm doing that at a pretty good clip, I'm taking out for the rest of the day for sure, and I might not walk tomorrow.
Exactly. I'm out, on my. I've had some treadmill interval days where I'm like, oh, I'm out for, that was last week when I did the 20 rounds. I was like, the next day I ran 3 miles. It was terrible. It felt so awful. And I intentionally ran slow. I'm like, I just need to go outside for a while. And it was like the worst feeling run I've ever had. Like my body did not like it, It's like, it just depends on the intention you put on it, right?
Right. Exactly. I think more and more, that's what I've been trying to communicate to newer runners when I'm talking to them is what is the objective of today? Okay, so we're going to go do this workout, but what are we trying to accomplish? And then, so then we can cater towards that. Then you're not failing at anything. What's the point? Is the point today to make my legs learn how to go faster? Okay, well, there's a lot of ways we can do that.
Yeah.
Or is the point today to move for quite a while? Okay, well, that's another way to do it too. And so what are we trying to accomplish here? Or we also get a lot of, I'm running because I just want to be skinny. Okay, well, there's a lot of ways to accomplish that too. You don't have to run 26 miles to be skinny, right? And actually, you and I know that often can adversely affect that. Really, if you want to be just cut, train for a fast 5K. You're going to be cut.
Yeah, that's the worst misconception. Is the further you go, the skinnier you'll be. And that is, the further you go, usually, especially for people who don't understand the diet part of it, the further you go, the fatter you'll be.
Yeah, because you're gonna.
Obviously, unless you're starting out huge, but.
Within a degree, but your body will need to hold fat because it needs the fat reserves. If you're running really long distance,
100%,
it taps into them. It just needs them. So it's just doing what you told your body to do, and it doesn't make that unhealthy either. You just got to understand. Okay, do we want a super low fat content? No. Well, that super low fat content is very healthy for certain activities you're doing your body for. It's actually not healthy for other ones. If we're doing extreme endurance, that's not going to be a good way to do that. You're going to need some fat there, or you're not going to make it.
No. And you're not going to be ready for the hunger that is associated with long distances. And so your body is going to be like, oh, I need food. So you're actually going to start eating a ton more because your body's legitimately needs all these calories. And so you're packing on more calories and not compensating for the expenditure, and you're just going to gain or maintain all of the fat that you have. You need to train like the athlete. Like, what is the athlete's body that you want? And you need to more or less go do that. So a 5K, a sprinter where you're doing a ton of power, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, what are the most cut track athletes? What do they run? Right? No, it's maybe the 400 meter is like the most cut, right? And so, is that the body you want? Well, that you're going to make, but it's in those shorter distances. Those are the guys that have big, awesome looking muscles and no fat content.
Yeah, right.
And then you see the real skinny type of body type. Well, geez, they're still only doing like 2 miles. They're not doing these huge runs at all. And then outside of going to elite marathoners, I mean, obviously, like the fastest guys in the world are super skinny, but there's a lot of real good marathoners.
Yeah,
that
that's
are not
different. But
I get beat by people with a lot more fat content than me all the time.
Even the elite marathoners, they're thin. They're not cut. You look at their midsection. It's not like a 400 runner. It's not like a sprinter or even a miler. It's not a shredded midsection. because that's where their fat stores are. So they're soft, right? They're soft in their midsection. They're in incredible shape and thin everywhere else because they don't need fat on their arms. They don't need fat on their legs. That's extra weight. But their midsection, you got to have a little bit of reserve. So like,
and
they're a little
and the
soft.
body is shaping itself. The body's shaping itself to what you're communicating you want it to accomplish. And so that is making the most efficient body
exactly
for this activity. Is exactly what it's doing. And again, I think wrapping our brains around that, and I think some of the body positivity stuff that's happened, of course, has been super detrimental. Some of it's been really cool. Is where different athletes have been like, this is what a peak athlete body looks like for this activity. There's a girl in the a female rugby player that got pretty famous and stuff through the last Olympics. And she's just built, and she's not cut. Her job is not to be cut. Actually she needs weight on her for what she's doing. No. She's super strong. Like this is what this body's designed for. And it looks awesome for accomplishing this thing, and she's not at 7% body fat. Right. You don't want 7% body fat to do what her job is to do. That's not this. If she was, she wouldn't be in the Olympics,
No,
And still,
even for the average person, like the average,
No, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, even for the average person, the average guy, they always want a six-pack and always want to be shredded, but like throughout the day, you don't need that. Like that's not necessarily well, I mean, except for me, obviously, I always need to be that kind of type. But for that,
you and I should be talking. We have our own like body dysmorphia issues here that are horrible.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know what you're talking about. Mine, I have no dysmorphia. I'm shredded all the time, forever, and will never not be. but like it's just not. It's not realistic. Like having, or rather, from the look, I'll take aesthetics out of it. People are chasing like under 10% body fat.
Yeah.
When like as an adult, even in your 20s, but really especially 30s up, like that is a crazy number to chase. Like depending upon the person, but like that's not realistic for the average person. Like you get around 15, great. 15 is a great percent of body fat. If you're doing some strength training, you're watching what you eat, 15 is awesome. To be chasing single digit body fat percent.
We gotta clarify also, we're talking about men too, which is totally different. So that is
totally.
That percent on a 30-year-old woman is almost nothing.
For women, women, I would say 30 and up, if your body fat percent is in the teens somewhere, you're doing great.
Yeah, you're tiny.
That's really good, And obviously there's caveats to all of that, but in general, the majority of women I see, and teens is awesome and very healthy. It might not be aesthetically what you want, but that's a different conversation. But like teens is a very, very healthy place to sit at for men and women. Women, higher teens, men, mid to lower teens, like it's good. It's awesome. But it might not look how you think it should look.
Right. Well, and we all, we all see those. I think we talked about this before. Maybe we haven't talked about it before. We all see those things of like the videos we see on Instagram, of course, are showing like people with 3% body fat. It's the great picture that also is in the right lighting, and you're flexing, and you just got pumped at the gym, and now we take the picture where your body looks the coolest.
Yeah.
And like, and then people think like, oh, I want to look like that. And like, he doesn't even look like that. He looks like that right then with the right lighting, just pumped, that kind of thing. So right. And my body, it looks certain times of the day, it looks way better than other times of the day. That's for sure. So it all depends on all of that. But it is comical with you and I, where we just both have an issue there with trying to stay under 10 all the time still.
Yeah, I don't chase the percentage as much, but I do chase that feeling of what I think I should look like at most times, and how much definition I think I should have. Yeah, I would say it's probably technically an issue, but I still think it's very realistic, so I don't treat it as an issue.
Right. Well, and then it's always fun. I mean, everyone wants their body looking cool as they can make it. That's fun, and as long as you're in a healthy way. But man, lately I cannot eat enough food. I am eating so much food right now, like it's just ridiculous. And so I still haven't gained
on all that muscle, dude. So
dude, I gotta be in like the 4,500 calories a day, maybe. I don't know. I'm not counting, but I just kind of keeping track in my head. Like, that's a lot. Yeah, I ate a whole loaf of bread, like the whole thing, And so, man, I'm eating so much food. I can't get enough. It's just nonstop. It's like every time, like, oh,
That's
is there
crazy.
more that I can eat? Yeah, it is completely ridiculous. But I'm actually eating cleaner than I probably ever have. Like, I'm not eating out at all. I haven't eaten out in like 2 months. And where usually I'm like cheeseburgers all the time. So I'm not getting that, which then means I think I'm eating, just accidentally, I'm eating tons and tons of fruit. And that burns so fast. And then I am eating a lot of bread. That's just Christy makes awesome sourdough bread, which does not seem to affect me negatively. I don't get the bloat from sourdough at all. And so I can eat a whole loaf of that in a sitting. And
great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And so, but yeah, man, I'm just grabbing every bit of food I can find.
That's hilarious. Hey, let's wrap this up, and we'll continue. So I think the moral of the story is the best athletes, especially as adults, are runners, right?
Well, obviously that's true. Yeah, more than that, I mean, on a serious note, I do think it is the base exercise for anything you'd ever want to do. It does, if done properly and consistently, it does keep all your joints working. It keeps a base level of fitness. It keeps your core in shape. Like, all those things you need for everything. Like, it just does all that. So if you want to do something, you add this into it, and it's always going to be a good thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Until next time,